Vlog 2.
Vlog 2 for 2019. Vlog 2 is based on an event that Aaron and I went to on Sunday, which was the 6th of January.
Yes. Socalize.
A lot of people attended the event. A lot of people probably didn't even know the event happened, and maybe there were a few of you who wanted to come but probably just didn't have the time to pass through and see what the scene was. So we say we'll just do like a recap or a review. We just wanted to give our opinion and our feedback on how the event was and let you guys know, so that if they haven't one next year, I'm not sure if they're doing this as an annual thing yet, but if they are, which we would love to see it go in that direction, you can decide if you'd want to go. On that note,
it was a really good initiative, guys. It was an excellent initiative, very well thought out, I think very much needed, and is something that I believe will be supported.
There were a lot of different facets that made the event quite enjoyable, and of course there were areas that could improve if they continue this next year as well. So we're just gonna touch a little bit on some of the key things that make the event successful. Things like the venue, where it was located, the artists that would have been allowed to showcase and perform, the space, the layout itself, how everything was set up. There were vendors as well that were present, the parking, the admission, which was free.
It just worked. It just made it work. It made it attractive.
Yeah,
you know, everything worked together.
Kyle Phillips and the Badjohn Republic team, alongside I think it's Article Entertainment,
yes,
would have been responsible for managing and bringing the whole thing forward. Kenny Phillips, Kyle's dad, used to do On the Greens some years ago. It used to take place in Palmy's Park. Is it Palmy's or Palmist? I heard them say Palmist. I feel like we should say the South way, because the South way, most of the South people are saying Palmist.
Palmy's.
Okay, Palmist Park,
South Trinidad.
In South Trinidad. They had the events there. I'm not sure for how long, but it was long enough that it made a mark in the industry. Kyle Phillips wanted to start back this event in the form of Socalize. So I actually saw it advertising on Facebook and Instagram as part of our promise to be a little more active this year. I was like, this might be a good event to go. The time was advertised as 3 p.m. to 10 p.m. We are not from South. We have no idea how Southland works.
Talk for yourself. I like South.
You like? Do you know how South?
Yes, I know how South is operating.
Okay, how we got to how we get to Palmy's?
It's one highway. You go down the highway, you turn off at some point, and you reach South Trinidad. Big up the South people, you know.
Okay, so Aaron was not aware of where we were going. Palmy's Park is huge. For those of you who've never been before, it's a huge span of land.
Very scenic, and so it's a known recreational space in South Trinidad.
I just saw it advertised as Palmy's Park. So when we got there, all we saw was the playground. That's all we knew. We didn't know what to look for, nothing. So I called Kyle. He told us to meet him, and then he would carry us or lead guide us to where the venue was. Which was, I think, that one of the things that I think if they're doing it next year to work on signs. Because I think if you're from South, if you say Palmy's Park, Block 2 or whatever,
those that not from San Fernando or from South, there was no easy way of finding the
unless
spot.
You knew somebody
or
get a location pin or something.
Yeah, in this case Patrice knew. So
the place that they had it in, the field is a field, I guess, is an empty space or park field. Beautifully laid out. There was enough space to cater for the actual event itself as well as for parking. It is a residential area. Kyle did say, you know, he had to go and organize to get permission, like talk to all the neighbors, make sure everybody was cool with it. Because by the time we were leaving the event, there were lots of cars lining the roads on both sides. Pulled up, and there were 2 security guards. So security is always a great thing to see when you come into an event, especially if it's free. And the area that was parking was the kind of slope, so it carried you down to access the backstage area, which I think was more like the artist
entrance,
and then the vendors.
Because it was a slope from the road, because the roadway is like up here and then the landscape goes down. If you wanted, you could have marked the event from the
on
road.
top. Yeah, that's true.
There were some people that right in the parking area kind of park their cars or pull out their chairs and that kind of stuff. There was the type of event where you could like bring your blankets or your mats and chairs, and like you could kind of sit down and so on. So there were people that were doing that.
But when we got there, it didn't have much
handful of
people. People were setting up, the vendors were setting up still. There was one DJ on the stage, so it was now kind of warming up. So we put our blankets and chairs and we sat almost front and center. Pick
up the chair and the blanket and go in front of the stage. You know, like when the old people and them reaching church is go in front and sit down.
I walked with, you know, the mosquito zappers as well. I had that on me. I packed that in the car to go with. But I forgot it in the car. I was like, Aaron, shucks, I forget the zapper. He's like, you not coming, what is he saying?
You coming behind me like no mad woman with that zapper. You coming with that zapper. We walking around with that zapper and people even for like
because of the mosquitoes in the grass. Mosquitoes? It's going to be nighttime. You never know what insects will be flying around.
Is it a shame thing? And she trying to walk behind me
that
with a zapper?
That is not shame thing. I think people might have been like, shucks, I should have think about that.
And because Miss Lady, I can't remember her name either, but because Miss Lady want to go front and center like the church woman, we reach mass early. So we said, of course, we are target. So the host with the, oh, let's go in, oh, let's feel it, I like this couple here, ting. So apparently there was a system where, because the event was free, there's a system where they had a little box of donations in front.
Contributions, she called it the contribution box.
Yeah, the contribution box. And there was a young lady by the front, so she prompted the young lady to come with this box and walk around the event and get donation from people. The old people say when you're going anywhere, walk with Vex money. I had no idea where I was going. I have a bad habit, I just walk around with my card most of the time.
Yeah,
so,
we both do.
$5. I gone in a people event.
It didn't click to me to think about cash. But not only that, we didn't come through the main entrance either. We came through the back, so we didn't know they had a contribution box.
So she point out, all I make a donation yet? And they me sit down studying. I only have my $5 in my book. But she's bring me insult to shame me, because if the woman see me skin my wallet and pull out my file, she's gonna say all like I said that free thing. And you come down here with no money in your pocket, not knowing what my backstory was. And you shame me $5.
I had some cash, so I put the cash that I had. But then Aaron was like, so how we gonna get food and thing if you
don't let me go down, the people dance and look like we saying something.
Editing this out.
$5 in my pocket. You can't edit it out, that's the truth.
Anyway, so back to the actual layout of the event. One side of the peripheral was surrounded by the vendors, and then there was the admission entrance at the front. And at some point when we were kind of settling in, we saw Rockback pulled up, and they
pick up what they serve, they learn. So it's inflatable. It's like an inflatable sofa that you open out and you fill with air, and you know, tie it up and so on.
Real cool idea.
Very loungy, very nice, very comfortable.
For like the beach, for those outdoor picnic vibes, like is a real. We would have bought. We would, like, as soon as we saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, we need to buy one of these, but they didn't have. We didn't walk with much cash either. They didn't have links. They started the performances, I would say, around 5:45, somewhere around there, because we were there for a good half hour, 45 minutes before the host came on and spoke. But as the performances went on, you saw the crowd just start to swell, and of course as it get darker, more people start to crawl out the hole and come out. So before you know it, we were sitting down for a good 2 hours, 2.5
for a while, probably more.
Comfortably 2.5 hours, able to see the stage. The people wanted to stand up and get on bad. They went mostly on one side, away from the people who were sitting down.
Shouts to South people, they more or less kind of respected those that were sitting. I
don't know how many artists they catered for, but I think by the time we got through sitting comfortably and then had to move, about 30 something had gone at that point. But I spoke to Kyle, and Kyle told me that overall it was a little close to about 60 people that performed. What was interesting to me is the variety of artists that we saw. It was a soca event, and what we loved especially, and this is something when Aaron said it, I was like, that's the perfect description.
We have a lot of soca artists in Trinidad and Tobago. I would say it's a very saturated industry where, you know, you have the big guns that dominate, and then the younger ones that are fighting to come forward, and then those that are like literally brand new artists. And what I appreciated the event for is that not only did it create a space and a platform for these artists to come and perform, but it created a platform of that scale. This was an actual carnival event, a soca event with a huge stage, so that an artist could get the experience to understand what it feels like to perform for a sizable crowd.
When you come into this space, because you know it's something that's showcasing up and coming artists, I don't want to say expectations are low, but you have a very open mind with what to expect. The caliber would have varied across the event, but you could have appreciated each artist for their songs, but also their sound. And then of course you were able to see from the bunch the ones that really had a lot of potential. For me, there were a few standouts. John Socawick from Artist Central. John Socawick, I think he's part of the soca arena.
Yeah, I don't know, but I've seen him perform a lot before, and I find he's actually pretty good.
I never saw him, and what I saw first, like he was in work attire, and he had a pink tight work shirt and a soft pants and
dress shoes and a
tie. Yeah. And I remember watching him, and I was like, this Sunday, like, did he go to work and come straight here?
Like,
I
went to church, boy. And
I didn't even click about church. I was like, why? Okay, strange, but all right, to each his own, you know. Not knowing who he is or if that he was affiliated in any way, and then the man reached on stage and flattened. When I say flatten the place.
When I jump sad, it's a truck with a bass, it's a bass, well you know it, I'm drunk, man. One of the wickedest part, man, and everybody watch me and my team, and we function up with the ladies. Me don't want no tea, that's still, man, I wet, man. Drive and I drink it, so everybody's safe, everybody's safe. Can't call my phone in the Juve.
One thing we noticed is the imbalance between the number of male performers versus the number of female performers. The first 15 for sure were males, and then one female slipped through the crack. And then there were probably a next batch of about males, 6 or 7 before some other females came into play.
80% male. Start singing, ladies.
I think you have a lot of females trying soca, but it is a male dominated industry. So maybe something needs to spark up to cater for, you know, pulling the females out of the woodworks and giving them the chance to shine as well. In terms of the female performers, I think for me, I don't know about you, Aaron, one of the standout females was a girl named Shala. Shala was really good. Shala had as soon as Shala stepped on the stage.
How we feeling? This is Shala. Take you to maximum. Hola, doy. Bubble if you're bubbling.
You could tell she has a powerful voice, a powerful presence. So Shala girl, if you see this, you have a really good voice. Whoever you're working with, producers, you know, link up with her. She has a lot of potential. One of the main people that stood out was this little one,
Aaron
Duncan. Mr. Duncan and family. You know, I pick up his mom and his whole family system. He has a machine behind him that's, you know, leading to all his success. But he has a real big song for the season. Back to basics.
You know this song? I want to hear everybody singing it right now, right? I want to hear everybody sing. We going back. DJ let it pull it back. Everybody let me hear this sing it go. We going back. We going back. We going back. Hey, come on. Let me introduce myself. I am Aaron Duncan. Yes, I youth man there on a mission. I representing my generation. Old and young, everybody gotta listen. And the ball out. So everybody feeling the vibe, this rhythm here make them feel alive. So I'm all out. If this wrong, we gonna spring for you. Loud down to the back. Everybody stand right now. What?
Him, among others, is a very good hands. So Aaron did a really good job, and it helped that the song was a good song and is a good song for the season as well. So he was able to come down in the crowd and people jump up with him.
Yeah, he brought a lot of people forward as well. Like, a lot of people started to stand up and jump up and sing. So
Aaron did a pretty good job.
There was another female, Khadijah Jeremiah. The host had mentioned when they were introducing her that she wrote some songs with Patrice Roberts and
she co-wrote for Patrice and
Marshall, I think they mentioned.
For me, it's all about the platform that sheds light or shines light on persons that could be behind the scenes as well. So she came, she had her own song, she had her own rendition, and then she sang, I guess, a bit of one of Patrice's songs. I'm not sure which one it is, but I guess it would have been one that she would have co-wrote on. And it's good to see that some of these people who might be in the background, who may not get the notoriety, who may not get the forward, we know that they exist.
Yeah, it's good to put faces to the names as well. Like when you go on, you just mentioned with Julian's promotions and YouTube.
Yeah, that's something I do. I would go, like, I would look at the credits. I like to look at song credits to see who the composers would have been, who the writers would have been, who the producers would have been. But everybody may not necessarily be like me, because this is the industry that I'm in. I like to see the persons responsible for a project and, you know, for someone who may not do that, that was a good platform for them to see, hey, this girl, you know, she's a writer, she's in the industry. We saw this other young lady there, Trini Baby, Trini
Baby, she was in the crowd as well.
Does a lot of writing and background
producing. Well. She's one of the few female producers, you know, locally, and she's making a lot of headways with the bigger artists as well, the more mainstream artists. With the space or the events, a lot of behind the scenes people came out, and it's good to see, you know, writers, producers, those behind the scenes people come out and just kind of, I don't know if they come to scout the talent or support the talent, but it's always refreshing, to see that they're there.
Adds value.
Yeah, we saw Mark
Dingwell
from South producer.
Marv is talent, very talented poet, stage name Marv, real name Omavi, Langivine, yes. I think he's a point man.
So it speaks to the fact that this is also something that caters a lot to the masses that usually come up north to participate in these events, you know. So again, commendable to Kyle and the whole Badjohn Republic team to have this in South, for South, and for North people to finally make a trot down on that side. How did the artists, how were they chosen to perform? I assumed that it was just people in Badjohn Republic camp, you know, persons who would have worked with them before. They left it open for anybody to come in and be a part of it. Kyle would have promoted and let people know ahead of. They would have done a call. He said, I think he had a Google form that the artists would fill out if they were interested, and they just, anybody that basically submitted, they allowed the opportunity to grace the stage. Everything was free, so there's no discrimination to say being like how you sung and whatever, you know. You just had to be on the ball with following the right people, making sure you're aware of these types of initiatives. Pretty and Zone, who came out.
Michael Teja was there as well. Yeah, we saw Kimber Sozano,
5-Star Akil,
5-Star Doggy Slaughter.
Doggy Slaughter, yeah.
A lot of them came out and supported.
So a lot of people behind the scenes. And it speaks to the camaraderie that exists in the industry. As much as sometimes it could appear otherwise, there are people who just really like,
there's a unity, there's
passionate
a love,
about it. Yeah, they just really want to come out and see people shine and prosper. So Kyle is a real cool, down to earth person, you know. His family has a history of doing these things. Casey, we saw Casey as well come out and support his brother, you know. So it's good to see his sister Carice. I think she was part of the stage management team. If I remember correctly, the host mentioned a girl named Gabi, who I assume was the girl with the long curly hair. And she was working, you saw her in the background on the stage with the DJ, organizing the artists. So, and as I said, there was a lot of artists to sort out within a short space of time. So, you know, kudos to everybody who was behind the scenes making the machine go and work. So we left about minutes to 10.
Yeah, somewhere around minutes to 10.
To which Kyle said the event finished like around 11:30. So if we saw about 30-something plus or 40-something plus artists at that point, you could imagine what additional came.
Or so.
Overall, it could have been anywhere close to like 1,500 to 2,000 people. That
the place was full.
When we left and we looked down, because we were on the slope, top of the slope of the parking, when we looked down, the amount, you can,
the place was full.
It's like wild ants. You see everybody just moving around.
You know, and I mean, I guess maybe from a patron point of view as well, not a lot of people have the opportunity or the ability to buy a ticket and go an event. You know, a lot of people may not necessarily be inclined to do it. Some people may not have the finances to do it. So an event like this being free, we didn't only see like millennials and young people. It had there were mature people in the crowd as well. Middle age, there were kids running around like if they're in a child party, you know, because the party was clean, it was good, it was not.
It was nice, clean, friendly, family oriented fun. It was really refreshing and nice. And I think that it speaks to how much of a great idea it is to continue doing for the future. I don't know if the team plans to do one annually. It should be builds an audience attendance number that is going to it will blow things out to the park in terms of getting sponsors, additional sponsors to come on board, because that's eyes and ears that they want to touch on as well, you know. So I definitely encourage them to do another one. Honestly, we were really impressed with what we saw for the production, and it can only go up from here. And because you want to obviously widen the markets and not just cater for the South people as well, but to actually bring some of the North, Central, West, East people into that. For the artists, they can benefit a lot from portfolio building and networking, and these are important things that kind of overall add to their the value of them as an artist. Shout out to everybody who came out, even the ones who are not from South. We saw a lot of people there who trot all the way from the east and west. Big up to Aaron, Eiffel, I saw, and these are we saw a lot of non-soca artists as well who just came to support the fellow artists. So there was Shannon Francois. They sing contemporary music, you know. Yeah, these are, I mean, it speaks a lot to the desire to see the whole thing propel in a direction that helps us all grow. I think for us, we really enjoyed the event.
I enjoyed it. For it being a surprise to me, because I had no idea where I was going and what I was going to do.
Yeah,
it was really enjoyable. I remember telling Patrice it kind of felt like that kind of Calypso Fiesta vibe where the event starts early and it's not meant to be a party but for you to come and support the talent. Of course it turned into,
naturally it was Trinity, so
it turned into that, but it was really for you to come out and support the artists and the entertainment that was there, and for that I was very appreciative. I'm very appreciative of the effort that it is to really to shine a spotlight on these young and upcoming artists. So I thoroughly enjoyed the event. With $5 in the pocket.
But you want a good time in the party?
Yeah, I had a good time, Julia. Yeah, I had a good time.